Okay, let's start. So, what is the okay? I forgot to send the agenda for today. My bad. Actually, I am stuck with for last 2 or 3 days some of my office work, so I could not get much time. That's why I could not even comment on that review of your assignments also, and did not even complete the assignment myself. So please allow me 3 4 days. Thursday is off for me, which is Eid. I will provide everything right by Thursday. Please bear with me on that. Uh, okay. And again, the assignment also next assignment. I think I will be able to provide on Thursday only. Okay. Let's start. So actually, for today, right, I have planned for this week to cover the OOPS concepts. Okay, everything about OOPS. But there are a couple of topics which we have left from the last week. One of them is about enhanced for loop. I believe we have not covered it yet, and there was a discussion which I wanted to have on the object class. So let's cover those things first, and then we will start on the OOPS concept. Okay, so let's start. So let me share my screen now. Screen one, yes. Where is my pen? Is it? Okay, so we're talking about enhanced for loop first of all. Now, what is this? We have already talked about. I think we have not talked about enhanced for loop, right? Everyone,
Yeah, we
No.
did.
we haven't. Okay, great. So we have already seen a classic for loop, the classic for loop, which is existing in the any language, right? From periods now, from ages. And how does it look like? It looks like this: for, let's say, you need to initialize a variable, then you need to provide a condition, let's say this, and then you need to provide the operation, right? Then you open up the brackets, and here you write your logic, whatever you are, and we have already discussed how it works. So based on it works there. Now, the one of the important thing here to notice is that over here, if you use this classic for loop, there is a strong need, there's a strong need to use indexing, right? Because based on your index positions, which is holded in I variable, right? This is the one which is driving your entire logic here, right? Inside this for loop. So we need to do, we're using indexing. Just a second. Huh? Okay, sorry. So what I was saying is that if you use this classic for loop, right? This works on the basis of this indexing positions, which you try to control using this I variable. Okay, so if you still have that need, then this is the best solution. Still, this is the best solution. Okay, but let's say there is no need, that the only objective for you is that you want to just iterate through the list, right? You do not care about your index position there, right? So if that is the case, then this is your answer. Then you would find that this is a far better approach. So in this case, there is no need to work on index positions, what happens here is, let's say, let's talk about, like, if you have currently we have discussed about only about arrays, right? So arrays looks like this, right? So you have items there like this, right? A, B, C, D, E, right? So these are items here. Now you can see, right? Currently it has 5 items. Tomorrow it may have 6 items, or maybe less than that, right? So let's say that your only objective is that you just want to iterate through this list. What is the size of it, you do not care. But what you want is that it always starts from this position, which is the zeroth position, right? Which is here, and it should go till the end, whatever that size is, right? And you don't care. If that is the purpose, right, then this is the far better approach, because here there is no need of the index positions. How it works like this: you again write 4, you open up the brackets, and again whatever logic you want to add, you will add your logic here in these brackets. And over here the syntax looks like this: you have to provide colon here. Okay, on the right hand side, this part, you will provide a thing which can be iterated through. Okay, so array is one such item which can be iterated through, right? because inside the array you can have multiple elements inside it which you would like to iterate through, right? So similarly, there are other things in Java which you can iterate through. Until, I mean, currently we have learned only about arrays, so I'm talking about arrays only. Okay. So let me say A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So let's say this was an array of, let's say names, right? It was a names array, which was of string type, right? So you would have created an array like this, sorry, string names equals to, let's say, new string, and then say A, B, C, D, E, F. Let's say you created an array like this. Okay. So now your name is referring to this array here, right? This array here, this complete array. So if you want to iterate through this array to print the items which it has, what you should do is, first of all, on the right hand side, you should be writing anything which can be iterated through. Okay. Item, I mean, uh, what we should say, variable, which can be iterated through. So currently names array is something which can be iterated through, right? So I will write here names. Now try to understand, this is an array. This is an array, and this array is holding some elements of one data type, right? What is the data type? String. Okay. So whatever elements, whatever data type which your this item is containing, right? You should mention that data type here, string, and then you use an here, right? Uh, right. So what I was saying is, whatever data type, right, your this thing is having, is holding, right? You should mention the data type here, right? And this is simply the variable name, whatever variable name you want to give. I have just mentioned, and you could provide anything, right, as you declare to when you create a new variable. So similar to it, right? So the complete syntax of this for loop looks like this. Now, if you would see, I have not provided any kind of mechanism where I can work with the index positions. Okay. Now, how this for loops works is, it will first try to see what is the item I am trying to iterate through. So it found one, right? Now here it will check, okay, this is something which I have to iterate to. What kind of data I will be getting inside this kind of data. Okay. So how it works is, it will start iterating through, starting from the first element it may have. So it will put, like, let you can assume that there's a, it will first point to this zeroth position, whatever that position number is. It will go there, right? And it will collect whatever value it has inside this. So here it has the value a. So in the first iteration, n will equal to a. Okay. N will equal to a, and then whatever logic you want to write, you can write here. Let's say I'm just printing the value as out, right? And you can print and here. So what you will print? A. In the next iteration, when this loop goes back, right, here it will again check whether my item can be still iterated through. Internally it has that logic, right? You don't have to specify. It will internally check whether there is any items which I can iterate through. If there are, right, it will continue the for loop, and this time the value of n will be updated to the next item which is there in that array, right? Or that iteratable item. So next time in the second iteration, so this is the first iteration, this is the second iteration. Here the value of n became b, so you can access it and print it. Similarly, in the third iteration, it will find c, d, e, f, right? So this is fourth, fifth, sixth, and now after the sixth iteration, right, it will try to see, do I have any new item inside this? There is none, right? There is nothing after it, so it will just simply come out of the loop, right? What is the advantage of using this? If you do not care about, like, writing the index position, right, and using it to access some values, if you do not care about index positions, you should not be, I mean, you should not be using this. You should be using this part. Okay. But here, mind you, what if you cannot have a logic inside this which we where you would be trying to work with the index position, because you will not get that. Okay. If that is the need, this is the only solution. Okay. So let's try to see this in action. Maybe that can bring more clarity. Okay. Why it is not opening up? Oh, it opened up here. Just a second. Recent projects. We are FS. Yes, FS workspace. This window. Let me bring it here. Okay. Uh, task screen. Okay. So let me check the status of it. Where we are. Its status. So there is nothing to commit. Great. Let me create a new branch. Git checkout -p day 13. Hmm. Okay. Over here, let us clean all of this. Delete, delete, and oh, sorry, I deleted Java also. Okay. Uh, Let me get the folder Java. Maven source directory. Yes, Java. And here, let me add the class. Uh, let's add enhanced for demo. Okay. Okay, fine. Let me try to save some space. Okay. Main method, and let's start to create one array. So this time the array, let me create a couple of different types of arrays. So let's say the first array is about name. So I added an array like this, new string, and here let me add Amlash, uh, Soumya. Okay, sorry. Yeah, let's say Fizula. Okay. Now this is our array. Now usually what you do, you would write something like this, right? Let's say let's first use the classic for loop. Let's say my objective is that I want to iterate through this list. How will you do it? You will first try to find the size of it. How many items do I have? Four, right? How can I find that thing inside an array? There is a method inside the array which you can use, which is names dot length, right? Right. This is the method which we will use. This is a method or a variable. Let me just check. For int I equals to. So we will start from zero, right? We want to start from the zero position, and we will try to run it till the length of the my array. So how can you check the length of the array? You can check something like this: names dot length. Okay, and this is a variable. Then it's not a method. I plus plus, and then what I will do is I will just simply do this, right? Names I. Okay, and let me print the index position also. Uh, Item at position I file is position I is this. Okay, so if I run this, okay, you can see here I am able to print the values. Okay, I'm able to print the values and also the index position. I still have the control of the index positions. Let's say I want to use that index position to write some of my logic. I can use it if I use this for loop. Okay, but let's now see the other one, right? Which we are trying to learn, which is the enhanced for loop. How this works is simply open these brackets. Let me say, okay, over here, provide the column thing, and we need to mention on the right hand side and left hand side what would come. In the right hand side, you have to provide anything which you can iterate through. So currently we have arrays. So array is one thing which you can iterate through. So what is the name of the array? Names, right? We mentioned this. What kind of data your array holds? It holds a string value, right? You can see it holds all string values. So it is clear from here. So what you can do is you will provide string and a variable, right? Let's say n here, right? And we are good. Okay, you can see the errors are gone. Okay, so this is the simplest syntax here, right? Again, you don't have to do anything more about it. This is just a simple syntax here, right? You do not care about, right, maintaining the index position or anything, right? You can just start with this, and from here for loop will try to understand what is the length of it, how many items it may have, and how, and it will always start from the zeroth position, right? From here. Now let's say I want to print the values. I can, right? I can just simply use n here, right? I can say names are names are this, right? But you can see here, I do not have the access to print my position here, like from at which index position this value was sitting on, right? I do not have that control because I am not maintaining any such counter here. Okay, so if that is the purpose, your only objective is to just skim through the iteratable items, then you should be using this enhanced for loop. And if you would see this, the output is, you will be able to get the same output except the index position. You will not get that. Let's run this. You see, names are Abhilash, Soumya, Priya, and Fizula, right? The same kind of output which you were seeing in the earlier case. Okay, right? Now let's create another array, but this time I will create an array of what? Let's say int type. I want to hold the employee IDs of, let's say, 10 different or 3-4 different people, right? Let's say for these people, right? So I will write here employee ID, and I will say new. I can do this also, right? In arrays, just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is also valid. Yes, this is also valid. What I can do now is, now here, right? Employee ID is an array of int int type, and it is holding how many values? These values, right? This is the value which it is holding. If I use employee ID and I, let's say, I want to just iterate through it, what I can do? I can just provide here employee ID. See, it starts complaining. It itself starts complaining because you're not matching to what this is returning. So what value, what kind of data it holds? It holds int, right? So you have to mention here int. Okay, and let's say mpidr, right? And let me comment this out just to avoid the confusion. And let's run this. Right, employee ID and all this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we can iterate through it, right? So currently we're talking about primitive data types, right? And all this. Okay, let me do one more thing. Okay, let me show you one interesting thing. Let me create my favorite class, animal class. Okay, so let me create that, and within the animal, let me write here uh, string name. Okay, string name, and let me create a method public void uh, uh, print details. Okay, let's say print details. And here what I'll do is I'll just simply print the value as name here, right? Whatever name I have. Okay, I'll print this. Now this is my class being created. What I will do is I will create open and right split. Let me just close this. Let me close this. Let me bring it right. And here, right? Uh, so so oh, so this is okay. This is okay. So this is this part. What I will do now is I will create some of the instances of my animal class. So I will say lion, animal lion, new animal. Okay, we have learned constructors, right? Everyone.
Yes.
So let's use constructor. Why not to use constructor? Public well, animal string name. Okay, let me show you one thing. So what I will do is this dot name, right? Now people can ask, what is this here? Okay, we need a chapter on this, so I will include it there, right? So as of now, just understand this is doing something. It is just assigning this value to this name. Okay, here what is happening is, you can see, right, we are trying to use, see, my instance variable name is also name, my local variable name is also name, right? Now how, if I write this, if I write something like this, name equals to name, right, what will happen? I don't know, like, what value I am putting to what, right? So you can understand that, as of now, just understand that this is one of the ways you can use to set the values, right, by keeping the names the same. And what this dot name means is, see, this name is this name, right, this kind of this local variable, and this dot name will refer your to the variables which are coming from your instance variables of the class. Okay, so as of now, just understand this dot name is referring to this name here, and this name is referring to this name, the local name. Okay. Okay, leave that as is. Let me just start creating some of the names. So I will put here lion. Okay, lion, and I will simply create more of my instances very quickly. So let me create tiger, tiger. Let me create tiger again, and let me create let's say fox. Okay, so this is my three items getting created, right? Now let's say that I have a need that I wanted to create an array of, currently, what kind of array we were creating? We were creating arrays of string, uh, int, let's say float, char, whatever. Those were all like primitive data type except the string part, right? How about creating an array of custom data type? Let's create one. I will this time create an array of animal type. Okay, how to do it? How you were creating an array of string type, or any of those arrays, right? You were adding something like this, string name. Let's say I am saying animals. Okay, new animals, animal, sorry, the sorry, this is what I want to do, string, let's say, right? This is what you used to do. If you, this would generate what? It would generate an array of what we say, string type, right? This is what it will generate. Why it is complaining? Just a second. Expression expected string. So I did string, right? Oh, I don't have to specify the size here, right? Okay. Yes. So this will generate one. What line number 10 will do? It will try to create an array of string type which can hold how many values? 5 values. I don't want to hold string, right? I want to hold what? I want to hold animal. So what if you do is animal here, animal here. Okay. How many items I want? Currently I have 3, but I don't want to give the size. I want to rather give the value itself. What will you provide here? You will provide whatever is representing this animal here, right? So what are those variables which are of type animal? Lion, tiger, and fox. So I will provide here lion, tiger, and fox. Does anyone has a question on this? First of all, see, this is very important, right? We are about to close all our basic topics on Java. Okay, we are slowly and slowly moving to the our advanced part now. Okay, so this should be pretty clear by now. But what we are doing, Azhar, this is clear, right?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay, Kusuma, is it clear to you? Sally?
Yeah, it's clear. We are creating
Okay,
this array using the syntax now.
right. But this is an array of animal type, your custom data
Mm.
type, right?
Yeah.
And why and can I provide here Akhil like this? Will it work? It will not
Uh,
work, right?
no, it won't.
Because Akhil is not a type of, like, the data type of this Akhil is not animal, right?
Yeah.
It's a string. That's why you
Yeah.
cannot put that value here. What value it will accept? It will only accept something which is of type animal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just one. This is clear, right?
But I didn't understood that first thing where you took N and why you took N. I did not got that thing in the previous program.
Where in the for loop?
Yeah, why you took N? Because it was never declared anywhere.
No, I have declared it here, right? Int n. I'm
Oh,
I'm I'm, men- I'm mentioning it the data type of it, right?
yeah, yeah, okay. Directly, okay, huh. In an enhanced loop, yeah. Okay.
Similar to how you do it here, right? How do you
Yeah,
do int
yes,
I,
yes.
right?
In some
You can
case.
you can do this outside also. It's not that you have to do it here only.
Oh,
You can do
yeah,
it
yeah.
outside also, right? But you will just use n there then, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I hope everyone is getting this. Atif, this is clear, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, okay.
Sudhakar, to you also.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, great. Okay, let's move ahead then. Okay, so this is right. Now my objective is I want to iterate through the list. So again, can someone tell me what should I write? Let me ask Jaswant.
Yeah. The advanced part or normal?
The n is follow.
Let's follow. So animal n
Animal. Let's okay n
colon animals.
colon animals. Okay, great. And let's say I want to print the name of the animals. This is my class here, right? Tell me what should I write here?
Okay. S out
Okay, s out
n dot name.
n dot name. Okay, you are when you say this, you're okay. You're telling truth. Let's just run this. Uh, so what should be the output here? Other, what should be the output here? If you run now, if I run this code here, other.
Yes, sir. I'm just looking into it. Give me some time.
Okay, yeah, so I created an array of these three values, right? I am using constructor here to set the value of my name. So whatever value I am providing here, this is getting set. It is being received here in this constructor, and through this constructor, I am set inside the logic of this constructor. I am set using that whatever value I'm receiving, and I'm setting it to this instance variable. So if I try to find name on the instance of any of these, right, it will print this value. So I'm trying to run this. What should be the output now? Okay, let me ask someone else then. Sally, if you know,
So it should print the names lion, tiger, fox.
right? This is what it will do, right?
Yeah.
N dot name.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
let me run this and just show everyone. See, my objective here is to show you both the cases, both the things, the custom array type, and how you can access the how can you can
Yeah,
use for loop to access through that list of animals now, right? The array of animals now. Okay.
yeah, just a little bit confusion. This dot name is equal to name. Can you just tell that again?
As of
What
now,
exactly?
don't no. Just understand from this perspective. See, what I'm
No, no,
saying is,
not about this particular keyword, but
uh-huh.
what happened when this dot name is equal to name means this name
Okay,
when it came
okay,
twice. Yeah,
okay. So let's say I have another name here. Let's say I write here local name. Okay. Now I'm saying whatever value I'll receive in this constructor, I need to assign it to this. So what code I should write here? Tell me.
uh, local
Whatever
name,
local name. Okay. Local name. Hmm.
name equal to name.
Okay. So here the assignment is happening from whom to who.
Mm,
If you do int I equals to 10, right? You're assigning 10 to I, right?
yeah,
So here you are assigning name to local name. Why? rather it should be the opposite, right? Local name is
Yes,
something which you're receiving, right?
yes. Okay.
So what should I write now?
Name equal to
Na-
local.
Name equals to local name, right? This is what I
Yeah.
should write.
Yeah.
Okay, so we understand this part, right? We are
Yeah.
good on this part, right? Now let's
Yes.
say that I don't want to use a local name. I want to use the name as name only. Okay. And now tell me, my local name is also name, my instance name is also name. So if I do name equals to name, what is happening here? Now tell me what values is getting assigned to whom?
String name is equal to string name. They are equal actually. Nothing. They are getting assigned to each other only.
Okay, but tell me, right? Like code needs to know, right? What name I'm referring to? How would my code know that this name belongs to this name? That when I'm saying name on the left hand side, it is meaning this part. Or when
String
I'm
name is
saying
equal to name.
sorry,
So it should be string name is equal to name. You mean to say?
no, I'm see string. We have already said, right? Even the
Yeah.
instance variable is of type string. Even the local variable is of type string, right? So that part
Yeah.
is gone. What I'm
Yeah.
what my intention is that if I am receiving lion here, right? Here, right, you can see at this line
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
receiving line here, and I'm providing this line to this, right? So if this line gets invoked, this is the constructor which is getting invoked, right? And
Yeah.
here line is getting set to this. So now here name is equals to line, right, at this
Yeah.
line,
Yeah.
right? But this is my local variable, my local name, right?
Yes.
This is my local variable which is getting set. Still at the instance variable the value is null, right? Because I
Yeah.
have not assigned, and instance variables receive default values which are null.
Yeah.
So now I want to set this value. Sir, I want to set the value of this instance variable. How can I set it? In the earlier case, let's say if it was local name, then you would have written something like this: name equals to local name.
Yeah.
Now my Java code would be knowing, okay, it would try to find these both variables. It will see, okay, name is something which is an instance variable, so you must be referring to this. So compiler would be very intelligent to understand that, okay, name is here and this is the only variable which is with the same thing, so it must be referring to this part, right?
Yeah.
And here local name means this name which is coming from the local method.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if I keep the names, both names as same, this and this, now how would compiler know that this name is not is belonging to this or this?
Yeah. It will get confused.
You're getting the point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you try to use same names for local variables and for instance variable, right, and the objective is to only set the name of this instance variable, right, you cannot do this. What is happening here is, it is, see, we have not talked about scoping in method yet, but try to understand. There is like we have an instance scope and we have a local scope. When you get to the local scope, right, if there are any conflicts with the names, right, what would be taking preference? Your local names would be taking preference. So what is happening here is, it is like local name equals to local name. You try to understand this. So if I write name equals to name, na, it was something like this happening. Local name equals to local name. So what is happening here after this? Your local name is again being assigned to the same value, which was low in earlier also, right? So after this line also, your local name equals to line only. What about your this name here? This is still null, right? You're not assigning this. It is not getting assigned here because that variable name is not used. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, if you use local name and assign like this, right, you understand this, what is happening. If you're getting lion in the local name from here, and then you're doing this operation, local name equals local name, what will happen? Local name was already lion and you are reassigning it to a lion again, right? If you remove local here and keep local, I mean keep this name here, right? So what is happening? These all three things are referring to your local variable, which is name. Nowhere your instance variable is coming into the picture. Okay, now just try to understand. If you want to still use the same names as your instance variable and your local variable name, right, and you just want to keep the same thing, what you can do is you can use this dot name. Now, whenever you do this dot name, it would refer to your instance variable name, which is this one. Okay. So now you would be able to set the value of your instance variable name using this dot name, which is equals to name. So this name belongs is this, and this dot name is this over here. Okay. Not making sense? Let's print this. So as out name, and so I'm printing both the things, and then I'm doing this part after this, right? Now let's see the output here. Okay, let's see the output. What do we get in all these four statements? And let's just comment everything here. Actually, I didn't want to go in that part there, but that's fine. Now, Sally, tell me, if I run this code now, just this line, if I'm running this line, what will happen? This will try to invoke the constructor of animal class, and it will try to provide the lion value to my name variable, right?
Yes.
Now, if I try to run this line, what is this dot name refers to? It is referring to your instance variable, which is this name here, right? So when you say this, right, it means it is the instance which you are trying to access, and so these would be like your instance variables only. So it will try to find one, and it found one, right? What is the current value of this dot name? Null, right? Because you have not set the value yet. The setting of the value is happening at line number 9, right?
Yeah.
And before that, the value is not set yet. At line number 7, it is printing name. What it would print? It would print your local name, which you would have passed from here, which is lion.
Yeah.
So it will print lion here, and this will print what? Null here. After you do the assignment here, right? So what is happening is your instance, your this dot name will receive the value as lion now, right? So now, if you check the value of this, right, it would now turn to lion, right? Value is not null anymore; it becomes lion. And if you print this, you get lion, and here the local variable is anyhow lion, right? So let's run this to see the output. See, null, lion, lion, and lion, right? Okay, and more about this keyword, right? I will talk about maybe somewhere else, right? Not today. So let me just comment this out. And what I was referring to, I think we got the point, right? That you can have arrays of custom data type, which I just created. But the main objective is what today was that we wanted to understand how we can iterate to the enhanced for loop, right? And this is how it works. One last thing to everyone, right? And let me ask someone specifically. Atif. Atif, tell me if I make this as private, right? I made this variable as private now, and now you can see my code started complaining. It says that you cannot do this. Why it is saying this? I cannot do this.
Because private we can access within that animal class only, right?
Right. So what should I do now? I want to print the value. Do you see a method here which can help me to do it?
Yes, so you can invoke that print details method.
So what should I type?
Yeah, in dot print details.
Print details, right?
Yeah.
And this will invoke print details. First of all, it will print for what? It will print for lion, right?
Lion, yes.
Lion dot print details. So it will print the name of the lion. Then it will use tiger dot print details. It will print for the tiger. Then it will use for fox, and then it will print for fox, right?
Yes.
Everyone, this should be very clear, right? We have discussed all this about the access modifiers and all. Now we are trying to bring everything together. You can see in this simple line of 7 to 8 lines, right? We are using a lot of concepts. We are trying to create the instance of a class. We are trying to use the constructor part, right? And then we are trying to create a custom array here, right? Providing the values. Then we are using the enhanced for loop to access the values. we are also using the access modifiers here to control the execution path, right? How it works and all. So this is all we are doing here. Okay. And if slowly you will find that as we will be moving ahead, right, we will be combining all the concepts together to get our work done. Okay. And by now everything should be clear now. Okay, so I think we are good, right, with the enhanced for loop, and this works here. Okay. Any question on the enhanced for loop now? Anyone? What are iterable items in Java? We just know about as of now about arrays only, right? We do not know about any other iterable item. But as we go ahead, we will learn that there is something called collection. Okay. So whenever we will use collection, then we will see like how we can use this enhanced for loop, because collections are also an iterable thing. So you can use this enhanced loop over there.
Uh, Rakul,
Mhm.
is there a performance improvement while using the enhanced follow? Or
Okay. See, I never go into the discussion of uh,
no,
this
I just
part,
wanted to
right?
know, like, is there
No,
any
no.
kind of difference other than
Your question is right. I'm not saying your question is not right, right? What I'm saying is I may not have an answer, right?
okay, okay,
But what I could say is that this enhanced for loop seems it is better, okay, as compared to
okay,
your for loop.
okay,
I
okay.
can we can check, right? Let's check it right away. Uh, this here performance, but you have to find first of all it is this is definitely easier, right, for us if you want to iterate through first of all, and I'm sure the performance also would be better there because you are not writing the logic here to write
Okay,
things. It is internal thing, and I'm sure the way they would have written the code would have been more optimized there.
okay.
Performance uh, difference, right? Difference between uh, enhanced for loop and classic for loop. Okay, there are some key differences between them. In general, NS for loop is much easier to use and use. Okay, so it is saying, right, is much easier to use where you need to manage the steps manually. But what it is saying, I want the
Actually,
efficient,
in
right?
the enhanced for loop, right, there is an iterator behind the scene. So some
Hmm.
people say that it becomes slower than the normal for loop because the iterator behind the scene takes a bit more time
Really?
in
But
enhanced for loop. But that's what I learned.
okay, I thought it's the opposite part because enhanced for loop is just again, if your objective is to work on the index and if you try to create a logic inside this, then it would become a mess. But if your only objective is to iterate through things, and then I think it should be pretty fast. Okay, let's see this. If this is say something, it's a bit of that the enhanced loop is more efficient. It can be, but in many cases, it's almost exactly the same as an old school loop. Loop. The first thing to note is that for the collection, the enhanced loop uses an iterator. So if you manually iterate over a collection using an iterator, then you should have pretty much the same performance than the enhanced for loop. Okay. So until now, it is saying that it is either same or better. Okay, someone said, I think Navilash said something. Yes, NS for loop is a bit faster than normal for loop. Okay. One place where the NS for loop is faster than a native and then a natively implemented traditional loop is something like this. Okay. I myself exercised little experiment I did today with some. So what I did was that I inserted a certain number of elements. Yes, progress programs such as you guys can understand what did I did. Okay. Oh, man, just share the observation. The results were not what I expected. Following is a graph of time elapsed in 3 seconds. So it's saying advanced loop, iterator, and the simple. So this is saying what? This is time loop. Y-axis elapsed, time axis. Okay. Uh, Y-axis is time elapsed. Test cases. Oh, it is saying that enhanced advanced loop took more time. So what are we doing in the enhanced for loop? This is a while loop. This is my enhanced for loop. We are just assigning the value integer b equals to y. Okay, teacher b equals to I, and then you're doing what? System dot out advanced time elapsed. Okay. See, again, I don't know, like based on the use case which people may be using, right? How complex or simple they're writing. But if we use it just for the purpose of iterating through, right? Then I am of the opinion that enhanced for loop would be much faster. But I do not have a
Okay.
matrix to say. Yeah, someone is saying sorry.
Okay. No, no, no. That's
Okay. Okay, great. So again, but if someone has anything, if they know about more about this, please let the let everyone else also know. Okay. Okay, great. So we talked about enhanced for loop, right? Now let's talk about one important thing which you should all be knowing. Okay, about Java. We have not discussed about inheritance, but let me just give a one word thing around it. So, what does inheritance means? First of all, I'm not discussing OOPS as of now, but I'm because I wanted to discuss object class. There's a need to discuss about inheritance, just a bit part of it. So, what is inheritance in the real world also, right? What does inheritance means? It means that someone would be passing on the legacy which that person may have to the younger generation, right? To the child of them, right? So it's like parent passing on some assets or something, right, to their child. This is what is meant by inheritance. Okay, so it is like, and in that case, right, if when a parent is passing on, let's say, some property to the child, right, it is like that, and both are live, let's say, right. So it is like it is owned by both, right. It is the parents who own it, but the child also have the access to the complete thing there. So in case of programming, right, when we talk about inheritance, it means that you can have something in the parent, right, and when you make someone as a child of it, right, and let's say you keep that class blank, that child class as blank, but that child class will still have some capabilities. What capabilities? All the capabilities which that parent class will be having, would be like, let's say, some methods. The parent class has some methods, some instance variables, something else, right? So whatever that parent class will have, right, everything from that would be inherited by the child class. Okay, so what is happening is, what is inheritance in Java? If you can have a parent class, you can have a child class, and whatever your parent may be having in terms of methods and variables, right? Your child will just possess them, right? It will attain all of them, right? And if you would look at the child class, if you keep child class as empty, and you try to create the instance of the child class, you will find it still has access to all the methods coming from the parent. Okay, let me give you a demo. Okay, again, I'm not here explaining what is inheritance in detail, but just let's just do one thing. Okay, so let's say that I create this animal class. You can see this animal class. Okay, let's not use this. Let me write one more thing. Let me create one class. uh okay, let's create dog class. Okay, so we create a dog class, and here again string name, and I will say string name, and I will create some method public void get details. Let's say you can see dog is a class which has these method and the variable name inside it, right? Okay, now if I try to create a child of it, so what do we call the child of a dog? Cub, or do we say it's puppy, right? I think it's called puppy, right? Yes, Sally, please.
He mistakenly his hand was raised. Yes, puppy.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's create a class, right? So I think it's called puppy, I believe. uh, so so I create a puppy right here. What I'll do is, I will not add anything inside this. Okay, I will not add anything inside this. And if I go back and give you and try to create a class named as inheritance demo, and if I go inside this and create a main class, sorry, main method here, right? If I try to create the instance of a dog, let me first open the right split. You can see this is how it looks like, and also let me open the puppy also in the right split. Okay, so this is how the puppy class looks like, and this is how the dog class looks like, and this is how the inheritance demo looks like, where I have the main method, the magic method. Here first I will create the instance of my dog class. You can see it looks like this, new dog. Okay, sorry, my bad. Here, right? So I've created an instance of the dog class. Now if I use d here, right, and if I try to access d dot, see what I'm able to access. I'm able to access name also and get details also, right? Name is this part which is the instance variable of it, right? I can access it using the dot operation, and I can also access the method coming from it, which is get details, which is this one, right? But okay, so we can do this. Let me write it here. Name. Let me put it into s out. Okay, and I can do s out d dot get details. I can access both my variables and my, okay, I do not have to do this part then, right? I can access the variable and also the method here. Now let's try with the puppy class, right? Let's see what can we access there. Puppy p equals to new puppy here. What I should be able to access from there? There is nothing there, right? The class is empty. So will I be able to access the name and get details here? Let's try. If I type here p dot name, do I see anything? No, there is nothing there, so I cannot access. So this will keep on saying, this will keep on complaining. So let me write s out first of all, and you can say it will keep on complaining. Okay, and simply if I again do p dot get details, it will not come up, right? Because there is no such method there, right? Both will throw an error. It will say cannot resolve method in puppy, right? Because it does not exist. But if I now create this puppy a child of this dog, right? How can I do it? I have to use just one keyword here, which keyword is extends, and I can do what? I can type here. See, in this case, right, puppy would be your child, and extends, after extend, right, whatever you write would become the parent of it. So I want dog to be the parent of puppy, right? As soon as you do this, and you see here, right, now errors are gone, right? Now it is like this puppy over here has this kind of code even inside it. Let me copy this. So you can see, right, this is empty, this is empty here. But if you would, but logically, right, internally, it is something like this. As soon as you made the dog the parent of it, right, puppy inherited everything which the dog had, right? And this is called inheritance. And because of this, you can see you are able to access the name also and get details also. So you do not require to do this. If you want to inherit the whatever attributes or methods which a class can have, if you want to inherit it, just I mean mark them as the parent, right? And how do you do it? By using the extend keywords. So this is parent, this is child, okay? And you can do it now. And if I run this now, right, what it will happen? First of all, it will do what? It is all null here, right? So it will print null, 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 nothing else. But which is fine, right? But we understand the concept here, right, everyone? Okay, I think
Yeah.
everyone understands this. Okay, let's just understand one last thing about this. In this case, not in this case, in Java, right? There is a class called object. We have learned about object as something when we create the instance of a class and we term it as object, right? Let me go back on the board again. What I'm saying is, if let's say here, right, we have the creator class public dog here, right? And whatever I can may have here. But in the end, if I do something like this, dog d equals to new dog here, right? If I do this, what do we say? This that we have created the an object here, right, or an instance of a class. So first of all, I keep using these words interchangeably, right? When I say create a new object, create a new object of that class, new object of that class, right? It also means of that class. It also means that I'm saying it means that create the instance of a class, create a new instance of a class, create a new instance of a class. Okay, instance of the class. So both of them means the same thing. When you use object or instance here, it means that I'm referring to this part, that you are doing new dog here, right? So here I'm creating an object, or I can say I'm creating an instance of this dog class, and I'm assigning this to a variable called d, which is of type dog, right? This is what we meant, and this is what is termed as object here, creation of an object. But in Java, there is a class named as object also. Okay, so there is a class in Java termed as object. Okay, and this is the most important class in Java. Why I'm saying this?
So apart from specific object, we also have a class called object, which is a concept in Java, you meant to say.
Yes. Okay, now what is this object class? And I'm saying this is the most important class here, and without it nothing works. But you can ask me, Akhil, till now you have not shown us this object class, then how our program is running, right? Till now we have not created any, we have not used this object class till now, right? And we have written so many programs, and still we don't know about it, which is fine, right? Which is fine. Why that is the why that is happening here, right? See, what is an object class? Let me first show you that I'm not kidding. There is a class called object here. Let me create the, you can see here object, right? And let me create o1 equals to new object here. So you can do this and it will not complain, right? This object is an internal class, and this is how it looks like. So you can see here public class object, right? It is already sitting here, and it has so many methods. It has get class method, it has hash code method, it has
How to read
equals
this
method.
content? How you went here?
What you can do is, you can, whatever, if you're using IntelliJ, right? I don't know about any other
Yeah,
IDE.
IntelliJ only.
So you can just click on this the object thing, right? Whatever you want to see the code for, just click on it, press control from your keyboard, and then just a second, just press the control button, right, from the keyboard, and then you will see this underline thing over there. Just click on it,
Yeah.
and it will open this. Okay,
Okay.
it will open this. Similarly for this dog also, right? Press control key and then click on it. Okay, and you will be able to move to that thing. So here similarly I'm saying that this is an object class which you did not create, which I did not create, but this is something Java already has, right? And this is a class, and you can see there are so many methods inside this. We have hash code, we have equals, we have clone method, we have toString method, we have notify method, notify all, wait again. Okay, any more methods here? Public final void wait also, right? We have, okay. So this is all we had, right, in the object class. Okay, but Akhil, why do we need to learn this? Why do we need to know about this? Okay, now I'm coming to that question, right? So I showed you this is a class in Java with this name, and it has some methods. It has some methods. Okay, and what are those methods? Hash code, equals, toString, and there are wait, notify, notify all. So these are all the methods coming from this object class. Now let's see one more thing. We created these classes right now, right? Let's say this dog class. Let's try to see what all methods and variables it has. You can see like it has only name variable and this method, which is get details, right? Does it have any other method here? And is it extending any class? It is not extending any class. So for the dog, the scope of work should be what? This variable only and this method only, right? Nothing else, right, everyone? I mean, as per the syntax which you have written in the class. So the dog class should not have anything else. Okay. Now let's see what does it really have. Let me see here, right? We create the instance of the class. Let's use D to see like what really it has. D dot. I can see it has name, which is a variable, which is okay. I can see it has get details, which is a method, which again I get it. But what are these methods? It is saying if you use D dot, you can access all these methods, which is wait, notify all, toString, hash code, get class, equals. Oh, wait a minute. We just saw them, right? Those were a part of which class? object class, right? Let me show you again. This is what it had, right? Object class had all these methods. But why are we seeing all these methods inside any class which we create? This dog class is not extending the objects class, right? Because that could have been the only reason. If dog class was extending the objects class, then only you as a child, dog being a child, it would possess all the methods coming from the parent. But here I have not used extends here, right? I have not used extends here, extends object here. Then why it is happening that this dog is attaining all the methods which are residing inside the object class? Why is that, right? Now I'm answering that question. Why is that? Every class, whether you created this or someone else created it or Java provided it, everything in Java is a child of object class. Okay, everything in Java, every class which you may create, right, which you may currently have or which you may create, every class will be a child of object class. And since that class is a child of object class, it will possess everything which that object had. That's why.
The sentence.
Okay, see, tell me one thing. If I want my dog to have all the methods which the object had, that object class had, what should I do here?
Extends
I should
keyword.
write something here, right? Extends object. I should do something like this.
Yeah.
And if I try to do d dot here now, I should be able to see this equals get class hash code to string notify all these methods, right? I should be able to see these methods. Why I'm saying this? Because these are coming from which class? Object class. And now dog is a child of it. So dog will possess all these methods, right?
Yes.
You understand that part, right? This
Yeah.
is what this is similar to the puppy class, right? Where
Yes.
puppy was getting all the methods coming from the parent class, in which case the who was the parent? Dog. Right? In that case.
Yeah.
In this case, dog was the parent and puppy was a child, and puppy was able to access both the things which the dog had. Right?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay. Now I'm saying if I write a code like this, right? Dog extends object, then you get all the methods and variables which your object class will have. And these all these equals get class are coming from that object class only. Okay. Now what I was saying is you do not even need to do this, because the rule in Java is any class which you create or which already exists in Java, right? They are anyhow getting inherited from the parent class, which is the object class. Okay, so you can consider your object class to be the super parent of everything in Java. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is you can consider like object to be the god of Java. Okay, so this is like object here, so this is like the supreme power. So this is from where everything would be derived. So object, from object, I mean whatever class we have learned, let's say there are classes on, let's say string class, this is also derived from the object class. So for string, the parent is object. If you created a dog class, right? Dog class is a parent of, sorry, is a child of object class again, right? Right? If you created a puppy class, for whom the parent was whom? The dog class, right? But dog is I mean for dog, who's the parent? Object. So like, so in this case, right, what would be the object to a puppy? It would be like a grandparent. So again, the ancestor, right, that view is still applicable for puppy. Okay, so what I'm saying is, in Java what happens is, whether you have created a class or you have not created a class like this, right, everything in Java is a child of object class. You do not have to specifically go and write this. No, it is not required, because it is like something internally happening in Java. Any class you create, it becomes a child of, automatically it becomes a child of object class. And that's why any class you create and try to access the methods of it, even if you leave it blank, let's say this puppy class, right, let me leave it blank as is, right? If I go there and try to create the object of it, you can see puppy class is empty here, right? Puppy p P1 equals to new pair. Oh my goodness, just a second. If I do P1 dot here, right? See, I am getting all the methods coming from the object class. Equals hash code to string get class wait notify wait, right? So everything is coming from there. So you have to understand every class you create in Java is directly is a child of object class. Okay, is everyone okay with that understanding? I mean, there is nothing to lot. I mean, to understand much about it. It's like a rule here, right? In Java, that there's a root class or there's a like a god class in Java which is called as object, and any class you create in Java is like you. It would be like any class you create would automatically become a child of object class. Okay, for that you don't have to do anything. It is the rule in Java that it becomes. Okay, everyone. Okay. So this is what I wanted to share about the object class. Okay, nothing more as of now. We'll talk more about object class when we talk about collections. Not now. There is no need to talk about object class, but I wanted you to understand that there is something called object class which has some relevance. And what relevance it is? That it is the parent of everyone in Java. Okay, so it is like the god of Java here, right, everyone? Okay, what we covered today? We covered enhanced for loop, and I think we all in a way we also understood like how to create custom array types, and we covered about this object class. I wanted to let's have I mean formal informal discussion about oops. Okay, because that is something which we want to start next. I will not explain all the topics here, but let's just try to have an understanding, and let's see what oops is, right? And I want everyone's input just to understand like what do they understand from oops. Again, everyone can have their own understanding, right? So let me ask everyone, right? Let's spend some time on it, because this is important, right? We need to understand what is oops and why do we need it. So let me write here what we are trying to discuss next is the oops thing. What it stands for? It stands for O stands for object. This O stands for oriented. This P stands for programming. Okay, I think it is called oop only, but we just add s from our side. Okay, oops. I believe that is the part, right? Right, Suzula? If I'm not wrong, I'm not sure. Or does s have a meaning here?
Structure or something, right?
Structure, yes, maybe yes. You're right. Structure here.
I think it came from earlier languages like C++, maybe.
Hmm.
But yeah, we have been in habit of calling it oops always.
Let me also check. I've never pondered on this question. Let's see. Is it called oops or it is called oop here? Oop versus oops concepts. Oops. Difference between oop and oops. Do we have oop or oops here? Okay. Oop says object-oriented programming is technique to solving problem. Here everything uses is based upon objects. Oops has some principle that Java follows like abstraction. The thing I think this is oop and pop. Why is oop called oops? Okay. Uh, Concept plural. As there are many concepts in oop. Okay. As there are many concepts in oop, that's why it's just a plural form of essay. Okay. 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 That's why
Funny.
it's called an oop instead of oop. Okay. Great. Okay. Great. But again, we can understand from our perspective, right? So again, see again, you can understand from this line also, right? It says object-oriented programming concepts. So what is object-oriented programming?
I just googled oops full form, so it gave me object oriented programming system.
System. Okay. Okay. Great. So we have structure, we have system, and here it is saying it is plural form. Okay. So so let's do one thing. Let's just stick to ourselves to OOP, right? Object-oriented programming. Okay. We can understand like as anything which fits to our understanding. Okay. Okay. Great. So let's go back to the drawing board here. Now, what does it mean when we say OOP here? Right, and as let's say plural form, let me write here. You mentioned what, Atul? Structure,
System.
system, right? Plural form, and let's say system. Okay. Okay, structure, plural form, and system. Great. Now, this is what we have to point it on, right? Object-oriented programming. Now, try. Okay. Okay. I will. Okay. Let's take some inputs first. Okay. Even I am not very clear what should I tell as you the definition of it. Let's take some inputs and try to build the understanding together. Okay. Let's start with Jaswant. Jaswant, tell me, like, what do you understand with OOPS? What is the OOPS concept?
So it's some kind of principle where you have like abstraction, polymorphism, and
Abstraction, polymorphism, and what do you remember more? Tell me.
uh, inheritance.
Okay. Anything else? It's a
I think there are
principle.
multiple things, but
No worries. See, whatever you best remember right now, just say that. No worries.
yeah,
Okay, so you're saying these are principles which have these things, right? You're saying that part,
yeah, which implements this using objects.
which which implements which implements these concepts, below concepts, using objects. You're saying this, right?
Yes, yes.
Using objects. Okay, let me write this. Atul, what do you understand with the OOPS part? Atul Jain.
I think it's more about organizing the data. So it's like tying your data to classes. So in a form, encapsulating it, encapsulating data and your methods into a class. That's where the foundation of OOPS begin, I believe, and then you have advanced concepts like polymorphism, inheritance, and all.
Okay, okay. So it is saying organizing your your data and code together. Okay.
So
Fizula.
from traditional languages, I think which were not object oriented, by the way. So I mean, I think the flow of data was not. I mean, how should I say it? Maybe. Okay, leave it. Maybe I'm not able to explain it. Yeah.
No worries, no worries. Okay, okay. Does anyone know any other? Okay, I think we'll go in that question afterwards. Let's first understand what OOPS people understand with. Fizula, if you can explain, like, what do you understand
Maybe
with
the
OOPS?
same thing as it Atul told, like adding the classes to it, organizing all the data actually into classes, and then we have the objects.
Adding classes and having data in
Class
it.
like yeah, the objects are there. Those are the fundamental blocks of you can say the core concepts of OOPS. The objects and classes, and then we have the four pillars. That's the encapsulation, abstraction, what is it, polymorphism, and abstraction,
In,
inheritance. Yeah, the four
inheritance, right?
concepts. Yeah, and it makes like yeah all the four concepts. So those are the four pillars,
Hmm.
and then makes the code more readable, and then yeah, I guess yeah, mainly classes and objects.
Okay, classes and objects. So mainly classes and objects here. Okay, classes and objects. Great. Let me ask Sudhakar. You there, Sudhakar? No. Okay. Sally. If you know about like
I've heard on the high level only in whatever way these people told. I'm
okay,
not used to it in day-to-day life working.
okay, no worries. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
no worries. Thank you. Priya.
Hi, Atul.
Hi. So regarding OOPS, right? If you can tell me like what do you understand with OOPS?
Creating objects that has data and methods. And for reusability, maybe code reusability.
Okay, great. Reusability, readability. Someone said readability. You said usability. Okay, great. Creating objects, right? Okay,
Which
I
has
think you
data
mentioned
and methods.
that has data and methods. Okay, data and methods. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, that's it. Atul.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Atif, please.
Like in OOPS, there are different concepts as like encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, and inheritance. To create objects, uh,
Mm-hmm.
to create real world entities.
Real world entities. Okay. Okay. So you use objects and classes to achieve this. You're saying, right?
Yes. And for that, we use different concepts like encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, and inheritance.
Okay. Great. Great. Okay, thank you. Siddesh.
Yeah, basically Java is a object-oriented language. Means object, we can say that, and the basic four pillars for encapsulation, abstraction, and polymorphism and inheritance. So they are similar definitions. So there is no
Okay.
any. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Abhilash, please.
Yeah, Akhil. So almost all has covered the main points.
Mm-hmm.
So the adding to that, maybe it is to make our code easier to maintain, modify, and debug.
Just a right. Just a minute. Maintainability. You're saying.
Yeah,
What you said
maintain,
more?
modify, or debug.
Modifications is easier, right? Is easier, and you're
Yeah,
saying the debugging becomes easier there. Okay.
debugging becomes
Debug.
easier. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And which gives us a clear structure of the program so that we don't need to repeat our code again.
Okay. Repeatability. Avoid this, right?
Yep. Yep.
Avoid the repeatability, which is similar as reusability, right?
Usability. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So clear structure, you said. Okay. Great. Great. Thank you, Abhilash.
Mhm.
Aparna, please. Hey, Aparna. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Yep. Hi.
Yeah, I think most of the topics have already, I mean, they have already mentioned, but yes, I would say the reusability of the code, and uh, we don't reveal the logic of the methods, we just call those methods. So
Okay.
that is encapsulation.
Right. Encapsulation. Okay. Okay. When you say, okay, I'll come to that part. Okay. When you say encapsulation, you're using the wrong word. It's not encapsulation. It is abstraction there.
Abstraction, sorry.
Okay. 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 But I got the point. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Akib just joined, right? Akib. Akib.
Hello, Akhil.
Hi, Akib. You just joined, right?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay, okay, okay. We are discussing about like we are taking input from everyone to understand like what is OOPS as per them. Do you can you if you're okay like if you can tell us like what do you understand best with OOPS? What is an OOPS?
Uh, in my opinion, OOPS is everything in Java is object oriented. So, like everything is object. For example, if you take a car is an object. So, based on that, we try to design and differentiate different objects so that we can have a maintainable code.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, Akib. Okay, Ashok, please.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's basically structuring the code using the concept of objects that includes data and methods for better maintainability
Okay,
and easier to understand as well. How are we going to structure it in the form of like calling and creating an objects?
okay, okay, okay. Great, great. Thank you. Okay, whom I missed? I miss? Okay, I missed Rafael, right? Well, if you can speak or if you can type, yeah, I think. Okay, just a second. Some sort of principles or rules in programming relatable to object creation in classes like encapsulation and this for efficiency purposes. Okay, so she added one more word about efficiency. Okay, I think I did not miss anyone. At least the people who are available in the call, and we had a very good opinion, right, about OOPS here coming from everyone, and largely saying that I think. Okay, yeah, Fizula, please.
Yeah, there's one more point that we studied in the beginning, that there are different types of styles of programming, I guess. And one is
Right.
oops, one is something
Right.
declarative, imperative, I don't know if I'm right, functional. I think different styles, different types of programming is there. Imperative, declarative, functional, procedure, I guess. And I
You're
just,
right. You're right.
yeah. And the one such is oops. That's
Yes. So we have oops, declarative, imperative, functional, and procedural, right?
this
Okay.
is only what I remember now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for these words, right? Thank you. We'll try to see like what are these, right? Even I am not 100% sure like what what these what is the exact difference between them, but let's speak, right? Let's try to explore together. So first of all, let's talk about oops. Okay. When we okay, Sally, you can you please go on mute?
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. So yes, Atul, please.
So, Akhil, if you allow, I just pulled out a textbooks from college time, and I was just reading through what it is. So, if you allow, I can read out
Yeah,
maybe
please.
4 5
Yeah.
lines.
Please,
So, it
please, please.
says that the major objective of object-oriented approach is to eliminate some of the flaws encountered in the procedural approach.
Eliminate flaws
The flaws
found in procedural
encountered
one,
in
right?
the yeah.
Procedural.
So,
Okay.
OOP treats data as a critical element in the program development and does not allow it to flow freely around the system.
Don't allow to freely
Flow around the
uh,
system.
flow around the system. Okay, around the system.
So it ties data more closely to the functions that operate on it and
Mhm.
protects it from unintentional modification by other functions.
Okay, it ties data with functions. You said right,
Yeah,
and
ties data
and
close to the functions that operate on it and
mhm,
avoids unintentional modification by other
avoid
functions.
right avoids unintentional modification by other functions. Other functions. Okay. Thank you, Atul. I think
Most welcome.
we have good amount of input today coming from everyone, and I think now the discussion would be very good now. Okay, okay, let's spend just 5 10 minutes on it. I think we have almost everything here what we wanted, right? But let's just see, right? Let's talk about these parts first. Okay, at least about this oops and procedural part. Okay, we need to understand these two first of all. Okay, now I'm not sure like if declarative imperative are like an alternative to oops, or like these are like different way of styling, like how do you do it? Okay, declarative, when you say declarative, it means that you need to declare all the variables which you would be using. Okay, it's like a declarative approach, you declare first and then you use. Imperative means, I believe imperative means that there is no need to even declare things, you can start using it just by mentioning the name and use it in the logic. Like what language supports imperative way of writing?
It's
JavaScript.
C, right?
I have not worked on C or C++ much, so I cannot comment. But maybe yes, if someone is knows that. But I think imperative means that, right, Fizula? You do not have to declare the variable. What does imperative mean?
I don't know much in depth actually. I just read it. Like when we study something, in the beginning
Let
they say, right? C is a language.
let me do it here. Imperative languages. What is imperative? Imperative. What? Let me write declarative. What is imperative? Declarative versus imperative programming, right? This is what we're trying to learn. Now, declarative programming is a program describing what the program does without explicitly specifying its control flow. Okay, is a paradigm describing how the program should do something by specifically specifying each instruction step by step. This mutate. Okay, this will never understand. Okay, is Python declarative? Okay, let's write now. Is Java declarative uh, or imperative language? Imperative versus programming Java. It again opened this one only. Is Java imperative or declarative? Computer programming languages have been divided into two categories: imperative languages and declarative languages. Example of imperative languages are Pascal, C, and Java. Okay, is Java procedural? Java. Okay. See, I think I can better answer this tomorrow about the different styles here. I will try to collect some better examples of it. I think here we'll get more confused. So let's avoid this part at least as of now. Okay, I'll get back to you on this part because this is very important, right? If you because this will really help you to understand like what different kind of languages provide, right? The different capabilities and what really they mean. I'll try to come up with some examples also on this. Okay. Okay, let's leave that part. But what is OOPS? That is what we should understand. Now, the basic rule about OOPS is, as it says, it's a way of programming where everything is around objects. Okay, that is what object-oriented programming means in a literal way also, right? That everything which you will design, it is around in and around objects only. And what are objects in Java? You create classes and then you create objects of those classes. And objects are what? These are like copies of your classes, right? And class is a blueprint. Now you have to understand that if you have, so what it is meaning is that if you have that you create some structures, different structures by creating different classes, which is fine. But to operate on those classes, to work with those classes, what you need is you need objects. Okay, so you can say, okay, Akhil, then I think we can just create a class and then just create the objects and then start working on it, which is what OOPS is, which is what object creation means, right? You create classes and you start creating objects of it, which is great. But there has, if you again see, these principles are not like someone came up with the idea of OOPS and then it just came into the picture, right, into existence. No, what happened is like over the years of the analysis and all the learnings which everyone took, right, they incorporated this, right? And so, okay, what are the benefits of doing this, or what are the features which our programming style should have? So they came up with these four things, right, which they found, which are encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, and inheritance, right? They added, they they tried to bring these kind of features, right, which can help us to achieve everything which you guys mentioned, which is what? Easier to understand, reusability part, readability, maintainability, that modification is easier, right? Or debugging is easier, or repeatability is to be avoided, right? When you say about reusability part, we just saw in the case of inheritance, you are reusing the code which was written in the parent, and there was no need to have the same code in the child, because there is already one place where everything is residing, right? Why to just duplicate our code, right? So duplicacy, we are avoiding duplicacy also, right? So these are those concepts which is helping us to I mean, to write a better code, okay, first of all, right? And when we say about OOPS, object-oriented programming, right? Clubbing, first, see, the first thing which we have to understand is that everything in Java is around objects, okay? So the object is the king, okay? It's like a king. So everything would be revolving around this object only. So first of all, if you have to work with something, you will have to create an object, first of all, okay? So this is something. Now, when you say object, what is an object? You have a class, first of all, which is like your blueprint, and then you create a copy of it by creating some objects, right? So this is like this, that you create objects here and all that, right? So every object gets its own copy of this class thing, right? Where now the coming to the other part, which Atul or some other people were saying, which was tying the data with functions. What does it mean? You have these instance variables, right? Let's say name here, and you have a method get name, right? I created two objects, let's say C1, C2, and I provided name here. C1 dot name equals to Akhil, C1, C2 dot name equals to Atul, right? And I try to run this method C1 dot get name. What this will print? This will print Akhil only. And here, if I do C2 dot get name, what is happening here? You are printing Atul here. So this is what meant by tying off your data with your functions, right? And how it is possible? It is possible because of creating because how the class gets created in Java, right? How the concepts of instance variables works in Java. Okay, so this is one thing, tying the methods with the data. We got that point, right? Similarly, it can also have another dimension that within the function you can have some data inside it, but that is again something which we've already learned. So as part of this, all these learnings, I mean, at least on the object side, right, there is nothing new to learn here. But using all these concepts which we have learned, constructors, methods, classes, objects, and all the logical functions, I mean logical processing, right, which we can do using the for loop, while loop, and anything, right? What it's saying is, you know all these concepts now, right? But how to use all these concepts together so that we can achieve the best possible efficient way of writing code. And they came up and say that, okay, we will have 4 different principles, which are encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. Now what these 4 are, we'll talk about like one by one, right? I have devoted specific day for everything, right? So we'll not be going very fast, we'll be again going very slow. But what we have to understand is that everything is evolving around object. Now the last part which I really want to focus on, why do we write programs? Why do we write programs? Why do we create a software? The need is that you want to translate your real world thing into a programming world, right? That is what you want to do. You are creating a software for a school, you're creating a software for a pharmacy, you're creating a software for a hospital, right? Or for something else, right? So what you're doing, you're trying to convert a real world thing into a programming world. And in case of Java, when we say object oriented programming, for us, right, whenever we look at a problem, we should look at that. First of all, in that problem we should find different entities which are involved, which are interacting with each other. Let's take the example of a school. If there is a school there, what are the different entities which are involved inside this? The one of the entities is school itself. Within the school we have teachers, we have students, we have classrooms, we have books, we have, let's say, the class period, right? So there are different entities, right, which are involved, which but if you collect all them together, this is what you mean by school, right? And these different entities would be interacting with each other. Okay, student would be interacting with the teacher, right? Again, if you have some other staff, they would be interacting with the student or with the classroom, right? And all of that. But if we are given that situation, okay, write a program or write or convert all these real world thing into a code, right? How we should perceive it? We should perceive, first of all, we should divide our understanding of everything like an entities, different entities. So we'll try to first identify, okay, this is there could be an entity like student. So let's say we have 1,000 students. So what we'll do is we will group all of them like one, we will place all of them into one entity, which is student, right? Because everyone is student there, right? All those people who are learning are, we termed it as student. They will have a name, they will have the class ID, I mean the roll number, right? Their age could be different, but these are all students, right? Similarly, we can have teachers, right? Now going back to the students, we have 1,000 students. Does it make sense to create 1,000 classes per student? What if we add some new students, we will have to add more classes? No. The point here is that you will think about objects, right? You will consider those students as objects. But to create objects, what do you need? You will do what? You will convert, you will translate that entity of student into a class in Java. So what you'll do is you will create a class named as student, which will represent all these students which you can have, right? And all the common attributes which they can have, and you will place it here. And then if you wanted to create, and if you wanted to represent 1,000 students, what will do? You will create 1,000 objects of this student class. That is what meant by object oriented programming. You are converting everything in the real world. You first of all identifying them as entities. Once you find them as entities, you are then creating objects of it, right, to create multiple copies of it. And every copy can represent someone, right, which has those properties there, right? Let's say in this class, right, let's say, I mean, we have 30 different students here, right? So, and again, So what I will do is I will create a class named as student here, and I will add some attributes. Let's say name, age, right, gender, right, experience, and all that, right? Because all these attributes are meant for everyone here, but that is only one, like a blueprint, right, of my student. If I want to create an object, right, if I want to represent Atul, what I'll do, I will just create a copy of it. How will I create a copy? I will just create an object of that class, and I will term it as Atul. Atul equals to new student, and then I will provide all the attributes which Atul should have. I mean, the values of those attributes which Atul should have, right? And every student has similar methods. So try to understand, right? What I'm trying to say is, in case of OOPS, right, the only goal is that you have to perceive everything around you which you're trying to provide a solution for, everything as an object. That's it. And the objects would be interacting with each other. How can you make it more efficient? How can you, what are the best principles which you should follow inside your programming style of writing code? That is something which they are providing, and they're saying if you use them, right, these are the best practices, and if you implement them, you can achieve a better result out of your code, right? And this can help you for the extendability, this can help you for the maintainability of your code, this can help you for the reusability part, so that you do not duplicate the different logics in different places of there, right? But again, everything comes with experience, right? It's not that everyone will learn from the day one. How much you are involved in writing code, how much you spend time on it, how much you're getting into a situation where from where you want to get out. So all of that matters. Okay. So when someone says about object oriented programming, just understand that you have to perceive everything around you as an object. That's it. And what are the different ways which the Java or the OOPS concepts here recommend us to implement things in a better way? These are four: abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Okay, and apart from this, there is nothing new to learn. Okay, because we have already learned everything which we should be knowing about the Java, like how Java language works, the classes, the objects, right, the instance variables, the local variables, how to invoke a method, how to have a constructor, right, how to have the conditional logic, if else, right, switch statement, how to have the looping conditions, how to have an enhanced for loop, how to use arrays. So we have covered everything, right? Now it is part that we have learned all the basic concepts, and now we would be delving into how we can make our code better. These are not design patterns. Let me tell you, if someone has a confusion that these are, we're saying a design pattern, these are not design patterns. These are again just principles which can help us, which will help us to achieve something better out of our code. Design patterns are different. Design patterns this tells you that, okay, if you write your code in a specific way, if you want to achieve something very specific, then someone in the world has already found a solution to it, and you can, and they have designed they have found a pattern for it. You can use that pattern inside your logic and achieve the same thing. That is what design pattern is. And OOPS is not a design pattern, if someone had that query. Okay. Okay, I think we understand this part, right, everyone? On this part, that how we should perceive things, we should perceive everything as objects. Okay, I think we're good for today. I don't want to discuss anything more. Okay, although today I was thinking to cover I think encapsulation or abstraction today, but I think even this is good. We covered the object class, we covered the enhanced for loop, we covered the custom arrays, and now we just had a brief intro about the OOPS. I will try to get a more formal definition of OOPS for you tomorrow. Okay, and I will also try to cover these five things. I will try to explain like how these fives are different, or what is the really difference between them, so that you can understand better, and what all languages which you may have used or maybe may have heard of, right, are providing these kind of features. I have worked on JavaScript, I have worked on Java, I have worked on Python, and I have sometime used in my college or school time C or C++, but I don't really don't remember much, right? But I can at least compare about Java, JavaScript, and Python, and I can also think of the SQL language. Okay, so these four I will try to think like where these are fitting as part of all these programming which we written here, right? And I will try to provide you some output around it. maybe it can help you to understand all these patterns more. I mean, these programmings more. Okay, there is nothing else which I wanted to add for today. If anyone has a query, please feel free to ask. Okay, and one last thing, right? As I said in the beginning of this thing, I did not get the time this weekend to look at the assignments which you would have, which people have already shared, and those who have not shared, please share. Uh, I will be able to get time only on Thursday, which is Eid, so it's a holiday for me at my office. So I will get time to review everything and even provide a solution to that problem. I have myself not completed the assignment, so I will get time on Thursday only. So, and maybe by that time only I will prepare a couple of more assignments, which I first one which I will provide on Thursday itself, and the next, and the next one after the next week. Okay, but please bear with me for 3 more days. I will provide that. Okay, I think we're good for today. Thank you so much for joining. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye bye. Take care.
Thanks, Akhil. Bye.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.